Come one, come all, and welcome to Tea Time with T-Cross. What's up, you fucking morons? Did you miss me? It's been a while. I don't even remember the last time I posted an episode. It's been a couple months, but I've been away. I got some personal shit going on that I'm dealing with, I'm working on. And the reason I stepped away is because social media is not good for my mental health. And I don't think it's good for anybody's mental health, to be completely honest with you. But some people are stronger than others, and I'm a weak-minded person. And if you guys follow me on social media, you realize that I like to stir the pot, which doesn't end well for me usually because I get in arguments, and then the arguments fucking ruin my day, and that's all the time. So, as of late, I've kind of taken a step back from all social media. I don't really post much. I don't really check much unless that's to do with my girlfriend or my gym or my family. It's pretty much all I've been posting about lately. And it's working. It's helping. It is making my life easier. But as of late, and by as of late I mean the last few days, I'm really struggling to keep my mouth shut. And instead of typing it out on Facebook, I'm going to talk about it. So let's get into it. Cardi fucking B has been added to the list of complete piece of shit people. And I fucking hate using this term, but it's what all the young kids are using these days. And it's going to be in the title of this episode because it's probably going to get people to listen. But Cardi B is fucking canceled. And all the fucking morons that I've seen all over Facebook defending this woman. What she did is disgusting and absurd. And for those of you that don't know what happened, long story short, before Cardi B was famous, she used to be a stripper and apparently an escort. And on nights she was escorting, she would apparently bring men into a hotel room, drug them, and rob them. And these girls are all over Facebook like, yes, girl, do your thing. Fuck these men. Y'all motherfuckers preach equality constantly and will only chastise men for doing piece of shit things. Now, I want to be clear that these men, Cosby, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, etc., are also pieces of shit, and what they did is way worse than Cardi B. But just because what they did is worse does not excuse Cardi B's actions. Okay? Just because somebody did something worse doesn't excuse lesser crimes. I can't go to a store and rob somebody and be like, well, at least I didn't take $100 million. I didn't rob a bank. I didn't murder anybody. Who gives a shit? No. And then these fucking morons are like, oh, well, men get away with this shit all the time. She didn't rape anyone or physically harm someone, so who cares? Or they'll say like, well, men get away with this shit all the time, and this is why women don't report it. Okay, well, Cardi B admitting this publicly shows that this shit happens to men too. And clearly, men don't report it either. So, where's the equality there, you fucking morons? Men suffer in silence just as much as women, and sometimes more than women, because if something like this happens to a guy, women like you idiots will think it's fucking funny and brush it off your shoulder like it's a joke. Like, oh, yeah, good for you, Cardi, do your thing, who gives a fuck? Like, men get raped just as often as women do, and they keep their mouths shut, and Cardi B coming out and convicting herself and admitting this just proves that. All the piece of shit men out there that do these things don't admit it. They are exposed because women had the balls to speak up. Now, here's a for instance, Terry Crews. If you don't know who that is, look it up. He used to be in the NFL. He became an actor. Came out years ago about all the sexual harassment that he's had all throughout his life. Nobody gives a fuck. Everyone laughed at him. Everyone goes, yeah, okay, you're Terry fucking Crews. Who gives a shit? None of Cardi B's victims spoke up because they'd be laughed at. Because men, people find this shit funny when it happens to a man. Fucking, what's her name? Lorena Bobbitt. Chopped her husband's dick off and threw it in a garbage disposal. People thought that shit was funny. If her husband would have chopped her tits off and threw it in the river, the guy'd be in jail for fucking ever. And everybody would be all over this guy. But because it happened to a guy, nobody gave a shit. And the same thing here, nobody gives a shit. Everyone's defending her. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know, maybe it's because Cardi B, like, her victims didn't speak up first, that, like, an old video surfaced where she openly said that this is what she did, and that somehow makes it different. I swear to God, I saw someone on Facebook write, these guys were paying her for sex, so they were going to be losing that money anyway. Well, just in case you fucking idiots are not sure how an exchange of services works, here's an analogy. If you go to a bar with $100, and you're planning to spend that $100 on alcohol, you get to the bar, they take your $100 out the door and say, now get the fuck out. You'd be like, no, what the fuck, I was going to spend that money on getting alcohol. And they would be like, well, you're going to spend that money anyway, so why does it matter? When you go somewhere to spend money, you're spending that money to get a service in return. So these guys went to the hotel with Cardi B expecting to have sex with her. If they didn't want to have sex, they would have just donated the money to her. But that's not how an exchange of service works, in case you didn't know that. And she also said that, like, she's ashamed of it. She was just doing what she had to do to survive. Let me be clear. That's fucking bullshit. I know good and well that you don't need to drug men and rob them to survive when you're a stripper/escort. If you want to be a high-end one where you live in a really nice house or whatever, then yeah. But to survive, you can live in an apartment and be a stripper without doing anything sexually for money. No dicks in your mouth, no dicks inside any part of you, no hand jobs, nothing. You can live a perfectly normal lifestyle without being a prostitute. So claims that you're doing all this shit to survive is complete fucking bullshit. So fuck Cardi B and fuck all you idiots that are defending her just because she's a woman. You are just as bad. And I want to read some of these comments. Now, I hope the person who made this comment is somebody that I've been friends with for a long time. I really like this person. But if she is listening to this, your opinion on this is fucking retarded. So this is what she said. You sheep fucks are straight retarded. Will the guy who drugged me and 3 other girls on Thanksgiving go to jail? What about the kid who drugged me at Bar A? You guys remember that Einstein-looking guy who was drugging girls? I've seen people comparing Cardi B to Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. Are we kidding? Those pieces of shits actually raped girls, pissed on a 13-year-old girl, and brainwashed children to leave their families and be what we call captive, yet they called it safe. I have personally never been down the road of gotta do what you gotta do to survive, but let me tell you, I have a very good friend who has, and I bet you this is some shit she would have done because as a woman, we have to do shit we're not proud of to get by and keep ourselves safe because of all the catcalling. Oh, she asked for it, pieces of shit that walk this earth. Am I condoning what she did was okay or right? Not at all. Should she be punished? I don't think so. That's my opinion. She didn't rape anyone, and she didn't hurt anyone physically. She didn't destroy any families. She didn't destroy anyone's lives. So that's pretty fucking insane. So I commented, clearly she wasn't as bad as Cosby and R. Kelly, but she shouldn't be punished because she didn't harm anyone. So drugging people is okay as long as you don't hurt them, and robbing people is okay as long as you don't hurt someone physically. Fucking insane. And And then she says, in response to me, can you name anyone that has just drugged women at bars that have been convicted? Do you actually know how many women are drugged a year and potentially raped by a man or woman and have to walk the streets like nothing happened? So the minute a woman drugs a man and takes money from him to be able to live, she's a piece of shit who needs to be thrown in a jail cell. Well, she took the money from them because she became a stripper and a prostitute. Nobody forced her into that line of business, so that's a fucking bullshit claim. She could have gotten a regular job at a restaurant waiting tables or being a normal bartender, but that's just me. Another girl says, seriously, these men were paying... Oh, this is the comment I was talking about. These men were paying her for sex and she knocked them out and stole their money. They were going to give it to her anyway. Fucking ridiculous. And then that same girl said, I think people forget how many men get away with rape on a daily basis because the victim doesn't speak out for fear of being judged or someone not believing them. Well, how about the women that get away from rape because the men don't speak out? Like I said before, two wrongs don't make a right. Just because men get away with it doesn't mean that a woman should. Guys do that are pieces of shit, but you can't just go around drugging people because you're a woman. I mean... And then she says, so one woman has to pay the price for all the men that drug women and steal from them? No, one woman has to pay the price because she herself drugged men and took their money. What she did has nothing to do with men raping women. They're all their own circumstance, and all of them should be convicted. You can't just say, well, that person got away with it, so should I. Well, that person probably got away with it because there was no evidence. There's evidence here of you openly admitting it, Cardi B. So, yeah, you should be fucking punished. The person who does it at Bar A should be punished. That Einstein-looking fuck who got caught on video should be punished. I don't know if he has. Look, the justice system isn't perfect. And it's never going to be. There's too many fucking people in the world to be able to catch every victim, every crime that happens. But because some people get away with it, doesn't mean that everyone should get away with it. If you get caught, you should go to fucking jail. Or punished. Or I would assume drugging someone is a jailable offense. I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer, but I can't imagine that it's legal. Yeah, so... It's completely fucking absurd. I see people defending her all over the place. It's mind-boggling. I mean, women are the only people that will find a way to blame men for a woman drugging and robbing men. Fucking imbeciles. God, that felt good to get off my chest. And Cardi B's not even good looking. Okay, can I just throw that out there? If she wasn't famous, she would be decent looking. She's not super attractive. I mean, if I was single and the opportunity arose, she's not. I'm not saying she's ugly. Let me put it to you this way. I'm sure some of you can relate to this analogy, but so let's say I'm not in a super hungry mood. Let's say someone offers me chocolate wafers. I like chocolate wafers. But if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat a chocolate wafer. That's Cardi B. Cardi B is a chocolate wafer. That's probably going to sound racist. Saltine cracker. There we go. There's a white thing. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat a saltine cracker. But if I'm not hungry and someone offers me a fucking mozzarella stick, I'm eating that mozzarella stick. I don't care if I'm dieting. You offer me a mozzarella stick, I'm eating that mozzarella stick. Karen, my girlfriend, it's a mozzarella stick. You offer me a mozzarella stick, I'm eating it. No matter what time of day, no matter if I'm dieting, if I'm not hungry, I'm eating that mozzarella stick. Cardi B's a saltine. I need to be in the mood for it. And I haven't been in the mood for saltine crackers in well over a year. So there's that. But since I talked a bunch of shit about Cardi B, some people are listening and going to be like, oh, typical man. He's going to chastise the woman and then he's going to go on to something else. No. I got plenty to say about the other fucking cocksucking men that I mentioned earlier. R. Kelly. The thing is about these documentaries coming out about R. Kelly and Michael Jackson now is like, haven't these things been well known? Like, that whole R. Kelly pissing on a girl is like, that video's like 15 years old. This is like well known for years. Michael Jackson has been accused, like, the first guy that came out accusing him was in like the early 90s, wasn't it? Like the two guys in this documentary were hanging out with him in the 90s. Like the early 90s, like right around the time that the first accuser came forward. And now because there's a documentary about it, now people are like, oh, R. Kelly and Michael Jackson are canceled. They've been canceled. For me, at least. I mean, I didn't need a documentary. But speaking of R. Kelly, I haven't watched the documentary yet. I was going to watch it the other day and I realized it was like an entire series of documentaries, like 8 episodes. And I was like, well, shit, I don't have 8 hours, so I'm not going to watch this right now. I'm going to get around to it, but something like 50 women came out talking about it. And there's apparently like a bunch of women like kidnapped that he's keeping in cages in his different houses all around the country or the world or whatever. This guy's a sick fuck. And I actually shared a video the other day about R. Kelly. It's really, really interesting. At least in my brain, I think this stuff is interesting. Like the whole body language. Like you're subconsciously know that you're lying, so your body language will tell the truth. There's a TV show about that. It's called Lie to Me. There's this guy, I believe his name in real life is Dr. Paul Ekman. Don't quote me on that, but I'm 99% sure I'm correct. He was one of those body language experts, and he worked with the FBI years ago. And again, I don't remember if I said it, but the show was called Lie to Me. It used to be on Netflix. It was when I saw it. I don't know if it still is, but if not, it's only 3 seasons. It's a quick watch. But he used to work with the FBI, and like he had like a 99% accuracy rate with this shit. It's pretty interesting. But in this video, there's this woman talking about R. Kelly's body language in that interview that he did on CBS. I'm sure you've all seen the memes with like, y'all killing me with this shit. Yeah, if you haven't watched the interview, watch the interview. It's not like crazy long, or at least the clip I saw was only like 20 minutes. It's not crazy long, but this woman talks about specific times in the interview that basically reveal that he's fucking full of shit. So the one part the woman asks him basically like, is all this true? And he's saying no, but his head is nodding up and down. So he's saying no, but his head is nodding yes. And then later on, the interviewer says like, so these women are lying about what you're saying. So then R. Kelly is saying absolutely they're lying, but he's shaking his head no. It's really fucking crazy. And then later on, she basically asked him again, like, did you do this? Or is this true? And instead of saying, like, no, they're lying, he didn't answer the question. He's like, why would I do this? I got this long, famous career. Why would I do something like this? Am I that stupid? Like, didn't deny it. Yeah. And I talked a whole bunch of shit about people supporting Cardi B. I see people that are like, fuck R. Kelly. I'm going to still listen to his music, though. Why? So, why fuck R. Kelly, then, if you're still going to listen to his music? R. Kelly's, basically, his whole existence is, or at least the reason that everybody knows about him, is because of his music. So, Yeah, fuck R. Kelly. Yeah, fist up. Fuck R. Kelly. But I'm gonna blast his music in my car driving down to the beach in a few weeks. No, fuck all that. I mean, I don't listen to R. Kelly's music. I mean, I'm sure I did when I was younger, but I couldn't even name you one R. Kelly song. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of R. Kelly songs that I know all the words to, but I wouldn't be like, hey, is this R. Kelly? So if you catch me accidentally singing along to an R. Kelly song, I'm not doing it on purpose. I just don't know much about his music. I guess I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I guess I should research some of his famous songs so I can know, like, have that click in my head, like, hey, fuck that guy. Fuck this song, fuck that guy, change this shit. I don't listen to Cardi B's music. But yeah, I'm not going to listen to that. And Michael Jackson, I've always been a big fan of his music, so that one hurts a lot. And I was actually talking to people about the Michael Jackson thing the other day, and one of the people I was talking to asked me, like, are you still going to listen to his music? And I was like, fuck no. And they were like, why not? I'm like, because he fucked little kids? What do you mean, why not? And they were like, but Thriller's such a good song. And here's the problem with that sort of mentality. From both ends of the spectrum, from Cardi B to R. Kelly to Bill Cosby to Michael Jackson, the people that are defending them because they have talent, if they didn't have talent and it was just this creepy looking guy that used to be black, had enough plastic surgery that now his skin is white, fucked a whole bunch of little kids, you would be like, what a fucking monster, bury him under the prison. And I'm saying, who gives a fuck about his talent? Bury him under the prison. He fucked kids. Put yourself into that situation. Make it personal. If Cardi B drugged and robbed one of your family members, to your dad, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, you would be like, fuck Cardi B. What a piece of shit human being. Or maybe you'd be like most of the world and you would laugh at the guy that it happened to. I wouldn't do that. I would say, fuck Cardi B. If R. Kelly took a piss on my cousin, I would never listen to R. Kelly's music. I would try to find R. Kelly and beat the shit out of him. If Michael Jackson fucked my nephew or my little young, 10-year-old cousin, I would have tried to beat the shit out of him. If Bill Cosby drugged my aunt, I would beat him till he goes into cardiac arrest, that old fuck. And I'm sure you guys all feel the same way if it happened to somebody in your family. People need to have the ability to insert a level of personal level. I don't know. Insert yourself into the situation on a personal level and see how you would respond then. Oh, but Thriller, such a good song. Yeah, but he could have fucked your kid. That could have been your son that he fucked. But because it's not, you're still going to bump Thriller? Fuck that shit. Michael Jackson can beat it. Fuck him. But that Michael Jackson documentary was really disturbing. And I've seen a lot of people defending Michael Jackson like there was no physical evidence. That may be true, but look at it this way. The two guys on the documentary were saying, like, when they were teenagers, or like 12, 13, around the age they were hanging out with Michael, oh, we were best friends, well, whatever. And then, like, now they're 15, 16, they're not hanging around Michael as much. Now they see Michael hanging out with Macaulay Culkin, the younger kids. And if you're best friends with somebody for years, don't you stay best friends with them as they get older? Wouldn't that normally how a friendship goes? He stopped hanging out with these kids when they got 15, 16, 17 years old because he was no longer sexually attracted to them. He wasn't going to fuck a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old boy because that's not what he's into. Once they got older, they stopped hanging out with him because they didn't fuck him anymore. Does that not make sense to you? That's how pedophiles work. They like little kids. They don't like preteen. They don't like teenagers. They like preteens. How is that not making sense to people? He would openly hold hands with boys in public. He openly admitted to sleeping in bed with little boys. Many of them. He had sensors in the floor leading to his bedroom that alerted him that somebody was coming down the hallway. So there was no cum in anybody's face or in anybody's mouth or underwear or whatever. Look at that, like, that's all a coincidence? Now, there's another Michael Jackson documentary. I think it's called Living with Michael Jackson that I watched recently. I highly recommend watching that. It really shows, and I hate to say it, but I feel so bad for Michael Jackson. The shit that he did with those kids, horrible. Horrific. And he should be buried under the prison. If he was alive. I know he's dead. And that's another thing that kind of pissed me off about the documentary, is like, he died 10 years ago. Fuck. He's not around to defend himself. That kind of pissed me off. But, I mean, everybody knew he was touching kids. I don't know why this documentary all of a sudden changed people's minds. Whatever. Sucks he died 10 years ago, and now everyone's talking shit about him. That sucks. I feel bad for his kids. Now his kids have to relive all this shit. So in this Living with Michael Jackson documentary, the interviewer, like, really delves into his childhood and how fucking abusive that his dad was from when he was a real little kid. So, I mean, his childhood was taken away from him. His whole childhood was performing, and up until he was an adult. That's why he created an amusement park with go-karts and like trees to climb and a Ferris wheel, and he had a fucking brutal life. At least upbringing. Obviously, he became the biggest star in the world with more money than God, but fuck, what a brutal life that he went through to get to that point. And it sucks. I feel really awful that happened to him, but that doesn't excuse the shit that he did to those kids. So, fuck Michael Jackson. He's a piece of shit, and anybody that defends Michael Jackson can rot in a prison as well. Anybody that defends R. Kelly can go fuck themselves. Anybody that defends Cardi B can go fuck themselves. So I'm all over the spectrum here. You can't say I'm just hating on Cardi because she's a woman. I'm hating on all these motherfuckers. And all those people that drug women in bars, I hope you get caught. I hope you get sent to jail. And I hope you get your face smashed in by the fucking enforcer in jail. I don't know how jails work. I don't know if TV shows of jails are how it operates. But I hope the enforcer throws a couple fists into the center of your eyes. Fuck. I feel like a giant weight just got lifted off my shoulders. And I can go back to not looking at Facebook for a couple days and let this Cardi B shit die down. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. I wonder how much longer Cosby's going to live being in jail. Because he looked like shit before he even went to jail. And he was taking that shit as a joke. I mean, fuck. So, I got that off my chest. My last episode was a little under 2 hours, and SoundCloud gives you 3 free hours. So this episode can go up to an hour, and I'm at about a half hour right now. And I don't have much to talk about in the MMA world, but I started this thing to be an MMA podcast, and it kind of went all over the place because I'm a psycho. So a lot has happened in the MMA world since the last time I spoke to you guys. Conor McGregor's been arrested a bunch of times. John Jones has failed multiple drug tests, and he's still allowed to fight. And he just got another fight booked against Thiago Santos. I think he's going to beat the shit out of Thiago Santos. I hope Santos knocks him out. I don't think it's going to happen. But also, a lot of big fights got announced yesterday. So there was that one. Holly Holm against Amanda Nunes, which, I mean, That's tough. I'm a huge Holly Holm fan. I hated her for a while because she knocked out Ronda, and I love Ronda. Still love Ronda. But Holly Holm has had 9 fights in the UFC. She is 5-4. Now, to be fair, all of her fights are against like top 3, top 5 opponents. But this is, I believe, her 5th different title fight. No, let me count. So her first title fight was against Ronda. She beat Ronda. Then she fought Misha, and she lost to Misha. I could just look at her fucking Wikipedia, but I want to figure this out. Then she moved up a weight class, and she fought Germaine de Randamie for a 145-pound belt. So that was her 3rd title fight. And then she moved back down and fought Betch Kohea, I think. And then she moved back up to fight Cyborg. And she lost to Cyborg. And then she beat Megan Anderson at 145 in her last fight. And now that earned her a title fight down a weight. So this is her 5th title fight and her 4th title shot because she had a title defense from the title she won. So she... I want to make sure I got that right. I'm pretty sure I got that whole thing right. So let's see. So she beat Ronda. That was her first title shot. Then she lost to Misha in her first title defense. So that doesn't count as a shot because she had the belt. She lost to Valentina Shevchenko. I forgot about that one. And then she got a title shot up a weight class. So that was her 2nd shot. She lost that fight, moved back down to bantamweight, beat Betch Kohea, then got her 3rd title shot up a weight class against Chris Cyborg, and then she stayed at 145, beat Megan Anderson, and that got her another title shot back down a weight. So this is her 4th title shot, and she's 5-4 in the UFC. Now, with that being said, who the fuck else deserves a title fight at 135 in the UFC? I'm not positive of the rankings right now. I'm going to look them up, but I'm not, like, super mad about it for a couple reasons. One, like I said, I don't know what the rankings are, but I just like that fight. That's 2 strikers. I think that's going to be a really good fight. I think Amanda Nunes is going to win, but... So they have Germaine de Randamie as the number 1 ranked women's bantamweight. Has she even fought since she vacated the belt? Because she beat Holly Holm to win the 145-pound belt. Yeah, so she vacated it. She did have a fight in November against Raquel Pennington. Okay, I forgot about that. So I guess, she's won 4 in a row, I guess. But then Caitlin Vieira, I don't even know who that is. Raquel Pennington already fought her and lost. Kat Zingano hasn't fought much. Yeah, so I guess that's right. Amanda Nunes has already beaten Germaine de Randamie. So, yeah, Holly Holm's the best fight. Yeah, that's the best opportunity there. Rose Namajunas got a fight against Jessica Andrade. This is the first time Rose... I think her last fight was last April. So I think they're fighting in May. So it'll be over a year since her last fight. And then Robbie Lawler is fighting Tyron Woodley again. I think that's a perfect chance for that fight to happen. They're both coming off losses. I think that's a huge fight. And then Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes. I like the fight because I like watching Marlon fight. Marlon's a dope fighter. He is, he's not from New Jersey, but he trains in New Jersey. He deserved the shot before Cejudo did because they were originally supposed to do Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. the rematch for now the 135-pound belt, which the first fight didn't make sense to me. The rematch didn't make even more sense to me. Since TJ Dillashaw failed a drug test. It still hasn't come out what he failed for. It's been like a week. That's strange to me. So I think it should have been TJ versus Moraes in the first place, and then Cejudo should be fighting Joseph Benavidez at his weight class at 125, because they're talking about saving the flyweight division, and now Cejudo is moving up a weight class when Joseph Benavidez is the last guy to beat him, and so Benavidez deserves the title shot in that weight class, and then you can write that story because he was the last guy to beat him. So that fight makes sense. And then it should be TJ versus Marlon up at 135. And then, but TJ failed the drug test. So, I mean, Marlon's the number one contender. He's won 3 fights in a row, all by first round knockout, I believe, against Assunção, Jimmy Rivera, and Aljamain Sterling, if I am correct, which I'm 90% sure I am. But it should be Marlon versus Pedro Munoz. He's got 4 in a row. He submitted Assunção. Okay. I think he landed a head kick, though. But he's won 4 in a row. He beat Assunção. He beat Sterling. Both of them, you could argue. Pedro Munoz, I think, has won 4 or 5 in a row. That's the fight it should have been. But it is what it is. Yeah, that's that. And then let's see if they've released the fight for this weekend yet, because this weekend might be the most violent fight ever. Events. They haven't released a fight card on the website for this weekend for whatever reason. So it's Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barbosa. Gaethje is the wildest motherfucker of all time. So let's go to the early prelims. Yeah, and another thing since the last time I spoke to you, I think, is that the UFC is on ESPN now, which is pretty cool. But you have to subscribe to ESPN Plus, which, I mean, it's $5 a month. It's not too bad. But it's just another fucking subscription service. I already subscribed to Fight Pass. I don't understand why there's both. So I already subscribed to Fight Pass. I got fucking Netflix. I got HBO Go. I got all this other fucking subscription shit. And now add one more. So the early prelims, blah, blah, blah. Ray Borg, whose son is a savage. His son is going through, has had 5 brain surgeries, and he's not even a year old. So hopefully he wins. I feel really bad for him, but he's got a whole bunch of people in the UFC that have donated money to him to help him pay his son's medical bills, which is pretty cool. And then we got the prelims. No fights I care about. Ross Pearson's fighting, but it is what it is. And then the main card. The 4 main fights are all good. So you got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Michelle Karate Hottie Waterson. This is a tough fight for me. I think they're both hot. I think they're both fun to watch. They're both strikers. Karolina is a Muay Thai fighter, and Michelle Waterson is a karate fighter. Her name is Karate Hottie. So that's going to be an all-out striking war. Waterson's got really good jiu-jitsu as well, so if it goes to the ground, the advantage is to her, but I don't think it's going to go to the ground. But that's a fight that's really fun that I'm looking forward to watching. And these fights start early now that they're on ESPN. So this main card on Saturday starts at 7 o'clock. The main card starts at 7, which, I mean, it's cool that they end early, so it'll be over before 11. But I'm a night owl, so now that the fights are over at 11, the fuck am I going to do with the rest of my Saturday night? Fuck. And then Josh Emmett is fighting Michael Johnson at featherweight. That's a good fight. Josh Emmett, I believe, is coming off a loss to... who just knocked him out? Now I gotta look this up. He just got knocked the fuck out in his last fight a year ago. And he's been talking about, since he got knocked out, he's had, parts of his body go numb sometimes, which is scary. But, Jeremy Stevens, that's what I thought it was. Against Michael Johnson, who knocked out Dustin Poirier up a weight class. And then you got David Branch, former 2-weight world champion in World Series of Fighting, and the number 11 ranked middleweight contender against Jack Hermanson, which is going to be a great fight. And then you got Edson Barbosa versus Justin Gaethje, which is... Justin Gaethje might be the most violent human being that's ever fought in MMA. You can't get that guy to walk backwards. He doesn't give a fuck. He came out and said when he first came into the UFC that he wants to fight the scariest guys in the UFC. And this is a quote by him. Not an exact quote, but he said something along these lines when he first came to the UFC. He said something like, I have nightmares about being hit by Edson Barbosa, and so I want to fight that guy. That's the kind of guy that Justin Gaethje is. And Justin Gaethje was an All-American wrestler in college. I don't think I've ever seen him shoot a takedown in any of his fights. Barbosa seems to have trouble with wrestlers, like his fights against Khabib and Kevin Lee, but Justin Gaethje's not going to wrestle him. He's just not. And then they asked Edson Barbosa yesterday, like, what's the game plan? How are you going to avoid the brawl that Justin brings to you? And Edson's like, my corner wants me to really keep the distance and work on my kicks and blah, blah, blah. Then he was like, but at the end of the day, I'm a fighter. And Justin's going to bring the fight to me, and I'm going to bring it back to him. So basically, it's going to be an all-out war. And considering the last 2 weekends of knockouts that have been in the main events, these guys have a lot to live up to. This last week, Showtime Pettis moved up a weight class and knocked out Stephen Boy Thompson. The week before that, Jorge Masvidal knocked Darren Till dead. So I hope this fight goes all 5 rounds, but for selfish reasons, because these guys are going to do really bad things to each other's brains. But it's going to be fun to watch for me, so yay, thumbs up. All right, I think that's all I got. So for those of you that got excited seeing me post an episode, this isn't going to be a regular thing yet. I still got some things to figure out in life first. But I hope you enjoyed my rants, and I hope those of you that disagree with me can fuck off.